for Samson Bonham, well known as the master politician and was an outstanding statesman. He was a great leader and our hero, you understand. That's why we remember
Yeah, morning viewers. I'm with you here again today. I should have been with you last week with our program, but unfortunately we could not have made that. You can understand there are different things. So many things are happening in Guyana today. And as a result of that, we need to take stock of every issue that is in the air. Well, I want to remind you tomorrow, Monday, CARICOM Day. You know, the first Monday in the month of July each year is celebrated as CARICOM Day, and Guyana is part of the Caribbean community, and as such we observe the first Monday in the month of July as CARICOM Day. It's a holiday, and tomorrow the Forbes Bonham Foundation will be having a brunch, and this will be held at Spicy Dish on David Street. Those of you who have been with us last year, we have arranged to have it better this year. So if you were with us last year, make sure you're with us again this year. Tomorrow morning, the brunch, come and collect your brunch meal from about 9 o'clock. We're going to start to serve. You can be there. It's just $2,000. We make the thing really comfortable now. You don't got to pay any $25. $2,000, bring $2,000. You have brunch, beautiful kind of conversation, beautiful music, nice kind of camaraderie. Be with us tomorrow morning. CARICOM Day brunch, Spicy Dish, David Street, 9 o'clock. Don't be late. But we're going to go a little late. We go until 12, maybe 1. Persons who might come late will wake up a little late tomorrow, being Monday holiday, so you can be there. But today, we're on to hot topic. Election is in the air. And obviously, people have different views, different comments, and when this season comes around, it's all kinds of things happen. Some people throw kind of morality through the window. Some people throw principles through the window. Some people throw honesty through the window. People throw responsibility through the window. So today, the Foundation has decided that we're going to be discussing the CCJ decision and its interpretation, first thing. Then we're going to be looking at this whole question and debate in the air on house-to-house registration. You know, I have the right persons with me today. I have the two of the commissioners, Mr. Vincent Alexander, who is also chairman of the foundation, I should remind you, very experienced in local government and its function, and Mr. Desmond Truckman, the commissioner of GCOM. Again, Vincent, this question of the decision. I ask you gentlemen to be here so we can talk about the decision of the court for the benefit of the Guyanese population.
You know, Clayton, you started off by stating that you're in election season and people are going to be saying all sorts of things. That season is better called silly season.
Silly season.
Silly season. You've asked me to address the question of the court, but I prefer to take the question of silly season first, for this reason. I have been seeing some television interviews and press conferences and so on, and the silliness has really become the thing of the day.
Silliness.
Silliness. For example, I saw a television program where Barajagio was telling this nation that we didn't have registration in 2011 for elections, and therefore, if you could do it without it 2011, why can't you do it without it now? And there is so much distance from the truth when these guys speak. It is true we didn't have registration in 2011. That's true. But why? House-to-house registration was had in 2008. 2008. It was agreed that we'd have house-to-house registration every 7 years. There was therefore no reason, no plan, no intention to have house registration in 2011. And therefore for Jagdeo to come to this nation and say, well, you didn't have it in 2011, why you want it now? Is so deceitful, because he was party to this fact that you were not going to have it in 2011. In fact, that we were not going to have it until around 2015. That is what was planned. And so the question is, why didn't we have it 15, 16, 17, 18, and why we have it now? The fact of the matter is that we know what happened in 2015. The whole question of the parliament being prorogued, and the whole question of the no confidence not being debated in parliament. People forget that, you know, that there was a no confidence motion, and what the PPP did, rather than allow the democracy to work, they prorogued the parliament, and by virtue of proroguing the parliament, bought a significant period of time to prepare themselves for elections. And you know, when people do something, they tend to judge other people by their own standards. So having done that then, their position is that anything which is done now is also an attempt to buy time. Because they know what buying time is, something they did. So we didn't have it in 2015. There was no allocation of funds in 2016. There's no allocation of funds in 2017. No allocation of funds in 2018. And in every instance, GCOM requested those funds. So that one cannot ask GCOM the question, why now? GCOM was yesterday, not now. But the funds have been made available now. And so GCOM is proceeding with house to house on the basis of a plan that we should have it every 7 years, and on the basis of a unanimous agreement in the Commission in 2018 that we'd once again approach the government, the legislature, for the funds, and on the basis that the legislature this time, unanimously, without any party dissenting, making the funds available for it to happen in 2019. But they made the funds available for two things. They made the funds available for a round of what we call continuous registration, so that the list could have been updated by April. And for us to start house to house, so that we could have a completely new list by October of this year, and a new list for the elections which was statutorily due to be held in 2020. So the idea was we're not going to go to elections without house-to-house registration and a completely new list, but in the interim, we're going to have an exercise to keep the list alive. Now, unfortunately, the chairman fell ill. And so in December, when the order should have been signed for that exercise, it could not have been signed. And the chairman did not come out until in the new year, by which time we had a slippage of about 2 months in terms of the exercise we should have done. So what we decided then, look, and this is not anything to do with no confidence. What we decided is that since these two things were planned and we had slippage, then why not go straight into the second of the two? Because time had already gone in terms of the first. And so that's how we decided that in fact we do house to house at this time. But there's a question which continuously is posed by the court. Why was GCOM not ready? GCOM should always be ready. Well, yes, GCOM should always be ready. And GCOM has a fairly good track record of always being ready. But in law, there's something called force majeure. force majeure. And that something means that there can be natural circumstances, circumstances beyond your control, which does not allow you to do the things that you were supposed to do. There's that idea in law, that concept in law, that institution in law. So, for example, if there is a natural disaster, and that natural disaster interferes with someone not being able to do something that he or she was supposed to do, that person is not held responsible for not carrying out the act, because the law says it was beyond the person's control and the act had not been carried out. I say all of that to say that GCOM not being prepared has to do with force majeure. GCOM did not negligently, recklessly, or carelessly not do the registration. The chairman was ill, and that natural state made it impossible for us to have the order signed. Some of us couldn't even visit him in the state of illness. And because the order couldn't be signed, the registration, continuous registration at that time, could not be done. And so I would think that honorable justices would, in their own thought process, not pose that question, because they should know, and I doubt whether they don't know, what force majeure is, and that the circumstance that faced GCOM was one of force majeure.
Interesting. I just want to go back on three things you said. One is that over the years, you were saying that GCOM has been requesting funds to conduct.
Quite correct.
These years, and during that period, none was made available, but in 2018, monies were made available to conduct those two exercises in 2019. That being said, and as a result of the pronouncement made by the leader of the opposition in relation to House registration, it was not done in 2011, so why now you have described that behavior as distant from the truth? A colleague of mine would say that it borders on vulgarity. The distance when it's too far away from the truth is vulgar. So he said that's one of the description I want to attach to it. Then additionally, there is a team, group, whatever you want to call it, continue to peddle this same thought process as that has been expounded by Mr. Jack Dew. And I need to remind our listeners, I'm going to be opening the lines. You're going to get a chance to call in and make your comments in relation to what Mr. Alexander has said, but I just interjected here to get clear that requests were made and this was not available and it was not done, and that's one of the reasons why it needs to be done. And as far as GCOM is concerned, it's a compulsory exercise that must be done.
Definitely. The other point is that having embarked on the idea of house registration, some of those people who are out there, like the Ram Korans, are quite correct. House registration normally takes as much as 9 months. Normally takes as much as 9 months. We were going to start that house process, and it will take us way up to October in the normal circumstances of the plan. Here came the question of no confidence and the fact that elections had to be held as quickly as possible. And again, one should understand that that is the essence of what the law says. The law says elections should be held in 90 days or in such time as may be determined by a two-thirds majority of the court.
Or the National Assembly.
Of the National Assembly. Why would the law say that? The law itself anticipated that there may be circumstances that will not allow for it to be held in 3 months. And so clearly, there's this provision and this understanding that it may not be held in 3 months. And what the National Assembly should then do is provide for the extension. And so in a sense, in legal terms, they would say that what the law did was not to mandate elections in 3 months, But to provide for elections in 3 months or any other such time, that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Oh, the fact of the matter is that the exercise not having been done, that should have started in December, even if we were to embark on that exercise, 3 months would be inadequate. If we were to embark on a continuous registration exercise, 3 months would be inadequate.
From December, it would have been inadequate.
No, not December. Remember, it couldn't have been done
Couldn't
in
have
December.
been done in December.
If we had embarked upon it after the chairman came out,
Okay.
3 months would have been inadequate. So it's against that background of 3 months being inadequate that we also decided to double up and do
The house.
the house to house. But what we did in terms of house to house is to say, look, all right, here we now have a question of these elections. Let us see how fast we can do house to house. So GCOM has not laid back and said house to house, and let's postpone this election. That, what
And
we
use
have
the
done,
long timeline of 9 months.
9 months. We have attempted to compact the house to house exercise as compact as possible so as to meet that spirit of the law which says elections as soon as possible. And so the idea of house to house is not just house to house now. It's house to house that is very, very compact, brought down to about 3 to 4 months so that you can deliver an election as soon as possible. People seem not to understand that as well, that GCOM has not been tardy. GCOM has made every effort to respond to the spirit of what the Constitution provides for. And